You know what's funny? Software engineers make on average $131,000 a year to write code, except they only spend about 9% of their day actually writing code. That's not a joke. That's from a Microsoft study. The same Microsoft that makes Teams, so they clearly understand wasting time. Think about that. The people responsible for every app on your phone, every website you visit, and basically the entire digital world, they don't even write code for most of their day. So what the hell are these people actually doing all day? How much they really make? And whether you should quit your job to learn to code? Let's find out. Let's start with everyone's favorite topic, money. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says the median software developer salary is $131,000. But median means half make more, half make less. And the range? It's absolutely wild. Junior developers fresh out of college or boot camp, they're looking at $70,000 to $90,000. Sounds great until you realize they're working 60-hour weeks at startups, which comes out to about $25 an hour. Your local plumber makes more. But here's where it gets interesting. Mid-level developers with 3 to 5 years experience jump to $95,000 to $120,000. Senior developers? $130,000 to $170,000. And if you specialize in something hot like machine learning or cloud architecture, you're looking at $200,000 plus. The real money is in the niches. Mobile developers pulled a median $185,000 in recent surveys. Site reliability engineers, the people who make sure Netflix doesn't crash during Stranger Things premieres, averaged $166,000. Cloud infrastructure engineers hit $165,000. But wait, there's more. These are just salaries. Tech companies love throwing around equity, bonuses, and benefits. A senior engineer at Google or Facebook, Meta, can pull $300,000 to $500,000 in total compensation. That's not CEO money, but it's buy a house in cash money. Why do they pay so much? Simple math. Software has basically infinite profit margins. Build it once, sell it 1,000,000 times. A single engineer can create products used by millions. Compare that to, say, a dentist who can only clean so many teeth per day. The leverage is insane. Plus, there's supposedly a shortage. The Bureau of Labor Statistics projects 17% growth through 2033, much faster than average. Companies are fighting over talent, especially good talent. The funny thing about that shortage, 150,000 tech workers got laid off in 2024. So maybe it's not a shortage of developers, just a shortage of developers willing to work for peanuts. Here's the part nobody tells you in coding bootcamp. Software engineers don't actually spend most of their time coding. Microsoft did a study and found developers spend between 9% and 61% of their day writing code. The average? About 30%. So what are they doing the other 70% of the time? Meetings. So many meetings. There's the daily stand-up where everyone says what they're working on. The sprint planning where you guess how long things will take. The retrospective where you discuss what went wrong. Architecture reviews, code reviews, design reviews. If you like meetings, you'll love software engineering. Then there's debugging. This is where you figure out why the code that worked yesterday doesn't work today. Could be anything. Someone changed something, a service went down, the moon is in the wrong phase. You'll spend hours tracking down issues that turn out to be a missing semicolon or a typo in a configuration file. Documentation is another time sink. Writing down how your code works so future developers, including future you, can understand it. Except nobody reads documentation, so you also spend time reading code to figure out what it does because the documentation is out of date. Code reviews eat up maybe 20% of your time. This is where other developers look at your code and tell you everything wrong with it. It's like having your essay graded, except the grader is also coding and also getting their essays graded. It's constructive criticism all the way down. Don't forget about learning. Technology changes fast. That framework you learned last year? Deprecated. The programming language you specialized in? Old news. You'll spend evenings and weekends learning the new hotness just to stay employable. The actual coding, when you finally get to it, is maybe 2 to 3 hours of your 8-hour day. And half of that is Googling how to do something you've done before, but forgot. Not all software engineers are the same. It's like saying doctor. Are we talking brain surgeon or foot doctor? Here are the main types. Front-end engineers build what you see. They make websites and apps look pretty and work smoothly. They're artists who speak JavaScript, CSS, and whatever framework is trendy this week. They're constantly fighting with designers about what's possible, and with back-end engineers about whose fault the bug is. Back-end engineers build what you don't see: servers, databases, APIs, all the plumbing that makes apps actually work. They write in languages like Java, Python, or Go. They're the ones who get paged at 3 a.m. when the site goes down. Full-stack engineers supposedly do both front-end and back-end. In reality, they do both poorly. It's like being fluent in 2 languages, but with a terrible accent in both. Companies love them because they can hire one person instead of 2. Mobile engineers build iPhone and Android apps. Plot twist: you need different code for each platform, so they often specialize in one or the other. They deal with App Store rejections, device fragmentation, and users with phones from 2015. DevOps engineers make sure code actually runs in production. They're the bridge between developers and IT operations. They automate deployments, manage servers, and generally prevent everything from catching fire. Data engineers build pipelines that move data around. They're plumbers, but for information, they make sure your Netflix recommendations have data to work with. Heavy on SQL and cloud services. Machine learning engineers are math nerds who make computers learn. They build recommendation systems, image recognition, chatbots. Anything that seems smart requires actual math knowledge. Each type requires different skills, tools, and levels of caffeine addiction. Choose wisely. Here's what they don't put in job descriptions. Software engineering is mostly about managing chaos, not creating order. You're not building elegant solutions to well-defined problems. You're duct taping fixes to systems built by people who left the company 3 years ago. The specifications change mid-project. The deadline was yesterday. The coffee machine is broken, which is basically a crisis-level event. Take the typical simple feature request. Just add a login button. Sounds easy, right? Wrong. Now you need user authentication, password encryption, session management, cookie handling, 2-factor authentication, password reset emails, rate limiting to prevent attacks, GDPR compliance for European users, accessibility features for screen readers, and somehow it needs to work on Internet Explorer because one important client refuses to update. That's not coding. That's juggling flaming chainsaws while riding a unicycle on a tightrope over a pool of sharks who are also on fire. The real skill isn't knowing how to code. It's knowing how to navigate the chaos, how to translate make it pop more into actual technical requirements, how to explain to management why their quick fix will take 3 weeks, how to maintain sanity when the same bug appears for the 5th time and nobody knows why. Software engineering has a clear progression path, and each step up means less coding and more money. It's beautiful and tragic. Junior developer. First 2 years, you write lots of code. It's bad code, but that's okay. You're learning. You fix bugs, build simple features, and ask lots of questions. You think senior developers are wizards. Mid-level developer from 2 to 5 years. You write less code, but it's better code. You can build features independently. You start mentoring juniors and realize you know more than you thought. You also realize the seniors aren't wizards, just better at Googling. Senior developer 5 years plus. You write even less code, but it's the right code. You design systems, lead projects, and spend lots of time in meetings. You're the person juniors come to with questions. You've accepted that everything is held together with duct tape. Lead developer. Congratulations, you're now middle management. You code maybe 25% of the time. The rest is planning, meetings, and people management. You're responsible for your team's output. You miss coding. Principal engineer. The technical track alternative to management. You're a technical leader without direct reports. You design architecture, set technical direction, and work on the hardest problems. You code when you want to. Architect. You've transcended coding. Your job is to draw boxes and arrows that represent systems. You make decisions that affect hundreds of developers. You haven't opened an IDE in years. CTO. You run engineering for the whole company. You don't code at all. You manage managers who manage managers. You speak to investors and worry about budgets. You sometimes dream about coding. The irony? You get promoted by being good at coding, then get paid more to not code. Many developers hit senior level and stay there because they actually like building things. So why should you care about what software engineers actually do? Because they're building the world you live in, and they're doing it while barely coding, drowning in meetings, and held together by caffeine and imposter syndrome. And somehow, miraculously, it mostly works. Your Instagram photos upload. Your bank transfers go through. Your Netflix streams run without buffering. The entire digital infrastructure of modern civilization runs on code written by people Googling how to center a div for the 1,000th time. The truth about software engineering isn't that it's a scam or that engineers are overpaid. It's that building software is inherently chaos, and software engineers are chaos wranglers. They're not paid to write code. They're paid to solve problems, manage complexity, and keep the digital world from imploding. Is it worth learning to code? Sure, if you can handle the reality. You won't be a genius hacker changing the world with every keystroke. You'll be a digital plumber, maintaining the pipes that keep the internet flowing. You'll spend more time in meetings than coding. You'll question your life choices regularly, but you'll also make good money, work from anywhere, and occasionally, just occasionally, build something cool that actually works. And honestly, that's not a bad gig.